Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're not going to talk about rockets, we're not going to talk about electric cars. Instead, we're going to decode the source code behind Elon Musk by looking at his life before the billions, before all the fame. We're looking at the original operating system he wrote for himself. Right, everyone knows Musk for these massive, world-changing projects. But the real key to understanding how he got there, it's not in the finished product. It was programmed into him long before any of those things were even an idea. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to treat his early life less like a biography and more like the development of a super powerful personal operating system, an OS that you'll see he's been running, debugging, and upgrading his entire life. Way before he was the founder of any company you've ever heard of, Musk was building a prototype of himself. And just like any great piece of software, this prototype ran on a few core principles that he just executed on, relentlessly. So let's break them down. Okay, first and probably the most important principle in his OS is this idea of running closed loops. It's all about turning a simple idea into a complete self-sustaining system. So get this. At just 12 years old, this is what he did. First, he taught himself how to program in 3 days. Then, he built a video game called Blaster. He didn't stop there. He then sold the code to a magazine for $500. And then, and this is the most critical part, he reinvested that cash. That's the full circle, the closed loop. You see, the point here is that this wasn't just some kid having fun on a computer. This was a 12-year-old who already understood the entire cycle of creating value, from the initial idea to the sale to reinvesting the profit. That's the first principle of his OS, baked in right from the start. Now let's jump to the next phase, where his personal OS gets a major upgrade. This is where he learns to use hardship not as something to avoid, but as a tool to get ahead faster. So after he moves to Canada all alone at 17, he has a choice. He could have taken any normal, safe job, but instead he was optimizing for something else entirely, the fastest possible upgrade for himself. And that meant he was willing to trade comfort for speed. And this perfectly shows his logic. He deliberately took the toughest job at a lumber mill, cleaning boilers in a hazmat suit, for one reason. It paid the most. Of the 30 guys who started that job, only 3 made it past the first week, and he was one of them. He wasn't a victim here. He was actively using pain as leverage to accelerate. He was buying himself time and money with pure grit. So what's next? Well, he applied that same aggressive, proactive mindset to building a network from absolutely nothing. He figured out early on that you can't just wait for doors to open. You have to go out and knock on them yourself. He and his brother would literally just comb through the newspaper, find executives they thought were interesting, and just call them. On the phone. One of those calls, totally out of the blue, landed him a summer internship with a big shot bank executive. The lesson is huge. Influential people are not just going to discover you. You have to go out and find them. And he took this mindset everywhere. He essentially treated his entire university experience as a business lab. Throwing a party at the frat house? For him, it was a real-time business model. Customer acquisition, overhead, profit. Fixing computers? That was a one-person IT services company. And this part is just incredible. He was already rehearsing his 10-year plan. His college essays on solar power and ultracapacitors, they weren't just for a good grade. They were, for all intents and purposes, detailed dress rehearsals for the companies he would eventually build. He was using his schoolwork as a free R&D lab for his future. So when you put all of these principles together, running closed loops, trading pain for speed, cold calling the world, you start to see a master algorithm, right? A single command that's at the very heart of this entire operating system. So what is it? It really all comes down to one simple but unbelievably powerful word that drives every single action: proactivity. This is the absolute core of his OS. It's not about waiting around for the perfect moment or for someone's permission. It is an intense, nonstop drive to act, to build, to connect, to solve, and to move forward now. And honestly, it's his most underestimated and most replicable skill. So why does any of this actually matter to you? Because this operating system, this master algorithm, it is not based on some magical genius that you're either born with or not. It's based on action, and anyone can take action. You can literally start running this OS yourself today. Build something real, not just an idea. Put yourself in a new situation that forces you to grow. Reach out to one person you admire. Reframe challenges as training exercises. Think bigger and let that guide your small, daily moves. Look, the real takeaway here isn't that you need to be Elon Musk. It's that you can adopt the same engine that drove his success. It's not a personality type, it's a practice. So the only real question left is, what's your first proactive step going to be? Because this whole proactive approach, it's not a single event. It's a compounding force. Each small proactive step builds on the last one, and it creates momentum. And that kind of compound interest, the kind that can actually change your life's trajectory, it can begin with a single decision you make right now.